In my first podcast, I stated that every client comes to us for the same reason. They're looking to find their level of wellness. This is the way each and every client measures their level of success. And truth be told, we all want to be successful in every task that we undertake. And if we're being real honest with ourselves, we'd like it to be simple. Well, there is a key. Ownership is the secret sauce to success. Today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Good day and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness, and I'm coming to you from beautiful, what I like to call downtown Dog River. Now, this is not the first time I've recorded a podcast here, and it probably won't be the last. This happens to be my home, and it was such a beautiful day, and I thought this topic, success, well, we needed a happy, bright, optimistic, beautiful place to talk about success, and I could think of no other today than on my dock here at Dog River. Now, please forgive me, since it is a beautiful day, a lot of people are out in their boats, so forgive the boat traffic that you'll hear coming by, and I want to make sure that I keep checking all my outputs and making sure that we're not coming in too loud, but also making sure that you can hear us over the boats that come by. Now, I've got a couple of program notes that I'm going to talk about in just a second, but first let me tell you how to contact the show if you have any questions about this or any of our other topics. You can call us at 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE, E-D-G-E. Also, you can reach out to me at Garrett, G-A-R-R-E-T-T, at personaledgefitness.com, and personaledgefitness.com is our website and, of course, our Facebook page. Now, before we get into talking about attaining success, I want to speak about, like I said, I have two program notes. One of them is about a program that's coming up 2 weeks from now. And 2 weeks from now, if you joined us last week for our program, we spoke about the Fountain of Youth, and I had on the show, my guest was our Eastern Shore manager, Joshua Gooch. And we talked about another actually simple topic, which was Fountain of Youth. And the three parts of a Fountain of Youth, of course, are protein, fitness, and water. That is your Fountain of Youth. And if you didn't check that out and you want to know more about that, of course, you can go back into our files on our personaledgefitness.com website under podcasts and check that one out. But we also spoke about this program that's coming up in a couple of weeks, which is about our Catalyst program geared towards teens. Now, we're running a pilot program of that right now and having incredible success. And the neat thing about this, for those of you that know about our Catalyst Lifestyle Change program, yes, it is a weight loss program that we use for adults. It's also a weight loss program that we use for teens if they have that challenge. But this particular program is rather unique, and we're real excited about it because at the core of the program, we deal with, through some of Dan Danley's books, with your teen, we deal with optimism, conquering fears, and overall building confidence. Now, our Eastern Shore director, Joshua Gooch, is actually running this program. He's going to come on with me 2 weeks from now. We're going to sit down and talk about this program. If you have a teenager and you're interested in helping them build their confidence, please tune into that show. Again, it'll be 2 weeks from the airing of this particular podcast. Other program note is that next week, join us. We're going to have Dr. Jonathan Holmes, who's a pediatrician with Children's Medical Group, and he'll be joining us next week. Back to this topic of success. Now, I want to give credit where credit's due. I've pondered this topic quite often, and the reason I haven't done a podcast on it was I haven't really known how to encapsulate this and get it into a good message to simplify it, if you will. And I was reading a book. I talk about several of the books that I read on here because I learned so much from them. But I was reading a book called Guts. GUT stands for Greatness Under Tremendous Stress, is what GUT stands for. Greatness Under Tremendous Stress. And this was actually written by Lieutenant Commander Brian Ironhead Heiner. Lieutenant Commander Heiner was a lieutenant commander of the Navy SEALs. So he really knows what he's talking about. But in the second chapter, and when I was reading it, he put together what I've always thought, and he put together a simple way of attacking this. And when I read it and finished it, I said, wow, I can't believe I didn't come up with that. That's so incredibly simple. And so I want to give credit where credit's due to Guts by Lieutenant Brian Ironhead Heiner, which is where a lot of this information comes from. And what he talks about in that, he talks about the fact that we have to own our success. We have to own the responsibility of our success. When it comes to success, we have a lot of hindrances, obviously, which are either real and most of them are actually imagined. They're in our mind. And we have to get past that And we have to know how to get past that in order to be successful. First and foremost, you've got to believe, you got to understand that we all have free will. I mean, it's a fact of life. What you choose dictates what your life is going to turn into. Now, that's pretty simple. I'm going to repeat it. It's very easy. We have free will. It is a fact of life that what you choose is what your life turns into. And many of us create these excuses and what have you, or these hindrances, mainly because of fear of failure. Well, failure is basically an education for the future. If you own your own success, take responsibility for it. Take responsibility for your actions. Get rid of these imagined hindrances. Then failure is an education for the future. Now, I mentioned the word excuse, and that's really what we're dealing with. That's where we have clients that have difficulties reaching their goals, and many times it's because of excuses. They're a waste of mental energy, and not only are they a waste of mental energy, excuses can basically rob you of your ability. I mean, I have somebody come in and to do a workout, and they say, they start off the workout by saying, gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do today. I didn't sleep very well last night. Or I'm really tired from the other day. Or I knew we were doing this today, and I don't think I'm going to do very well. It's no different than a head football coach looking at a team and saying, look, for months up preceding a game, telling them you don't have a snowball's chance of winning this game. If you believe you're going to fail, you're going to fail. And you start creating excuses right off the bat. Well, you've basically dictated whether or not you're going to be successful. Excuses feel good, but they don't do good. Now, I stole that quote. I love it. I stole that quote from Lieutenant Commander Heiner, and I love it. It's fantastic. Excuses feel good, but they don't do good. That's completely true. We all know that. What this boils down to is accountability. Now, I've talked about accountability in the past. I told you that that's the number one thing we sell, and that's true. But you can never fully delegate all of your accountability. I'll give you an example. Timers. We use timers when we do a workout with people sometimes. It's a good way of increasing intensity and basically controlling the workout. And I'll give people countdowns, do as many as you can in 30 seconds. I'll give them, you've got 10 seconds left, you're at number 12, you've got 15, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It aids in accountability. They feel accountable to that timer, and therefore they're going to perform better because of that timer. But it assists in their accountability. They still have to decide whether or not to do it. One of my favorites. My water bottle is hidden today, but it is here, of course, as always. But these rubber bands. It's another tool for assisting in accountability. I can look at my rubber bands. I can tell, okay, how much water I've had. And if I move one rubber band up the top, it helps assist in my accountability. But again, if I don't have the rubber bands, it's not the rubber band's fault that I didn't drink my water that day. You can't delegate all of your accountability. And even when it comes to trainers, though I've said that accountability is the one thing we sell because our clients are mostly professional. They know that they've got a session booked. They've got somebody waiting on them. Therefore, they feel accountable to us to show up and do the workout. But it's still, they have to show up. We're only assisting in accountability. Choosing to accept ownership of your success is, of course, choosing to accept accountability. And whether it's accountability for whatever your task is, not only your accountability, but others for that matter. If you've got other people involved in your particular task, accepting accountability for yourself, accepting accountability for their failures too, again, strengthens your ability to be successful. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you take true ownership of it, you're going to take responsibility. You're going to develop a relationship with that task that is going to be deliberate. It is going to increase your dedication. It's actually going to increase your love of success in that task if you're accountable for it. Those who routinely are unsuccessful, they resist accountability constantly. And you know these people. No matter what they do, they've got an excuse for why it didn't happen. And they excuse where they did everything they could, but it didn't happen because of something else. Now, Lieutenant Commander Heiner has a really interesting way of attacking this, and I really like it. It's a 3-step process of guaranteeing your success and taking that accountability, getting rid of those imagined hindrances. Number 1, write down the common excuses that you use. We've got excuses for everything, of course, but if it's a particular task or something you want to achieve, write down your common excuses. You want to know what they are, and you want to put them where you can see them on a regular basis. Write it on a piece of paper, tape it to your desk, tape it on the mirror in your bathroom, but somewhere where you can see them because you want to know what they are. We use those and we convince ourselves that, hey, it's not possible because of this excuse. But if you write down what that excuse is, then you're going to create a trigger. You're going to create a trigger in your mind when you say or think these things that, hey, I'm trying to avoid success. So you want to know what they are. Number 2, push yourself to accept only one of 3 conclusions on the outcome of a task. The 3 responses are easy. Their number one is yes, I accomplished it. Number two, no, I didn't. And number three, I messed up. Now, Lieutenant Commander Heiner uses a very different word in that last one, but I'm just going to simply say, I messed up. All three of those show accountability. They make you take responsibility for whether or not you were successful. And you want that. Again, if it's yes, okay, great, you accomplished the task, fantastic. You were truly successful. Number two, no, I didn't. I didn't accomplish it. I didn't accomplish it. I'm taking accountability for it. And I can easily, since I've taken accountability for it, I can use it as an education for myself on how I'm not going to do that again. Number three, I messed up. I knew what I was supposed to be doing, and I just flat out messed up. That's not only saying I didn't accomplish it, but I know, I know where I messed up. I know I've got my education. I'm ready to be successful next time. That is so much better than deferring your education or deferring your responsibility to an excuse, because if you're deferring it to an excuse, you're not learning anything, and you're saying there's nothing I can change, there's nothing I can do to make this outcome come to pass. Therefore, you're telling yourself there's no way I can succeed. It really is as simple as that. Now, I'm adding something to what Lieutenant Commander Heiner said in this, because this deals with what drives a lot of our excuses, and that is our inner voice. Now, all of us have this. We talk about this in our Catalyst Lifestyle Change program, because when it boils down to it, there's no such thing as bad food. It's how we react to it, and it's two things that make us overeat. Number one is lack of water. Number two is stress. And so trying to handle stress, trying to change our mind, trying to create a positive, optimistic, fearless confidence, we've got to change, or we've got to control that inner voice. Most of us, our inner voice is negative. And if you want to really change that inner voice, I've got some simple steps to make that happen. The reason you developed an inner voice, you're not born with that. That has been developed over time. Those developed most likely in childhood. We're only born with two fears. I say three because I think we have a fear of not being loved. But number one is we're afraid of falling. We're born with that fear. And we're also afraid of loud noises. Those are the two fears we're born with. We're not born with this inner voice. If you think about it, your inner voice, you can pretty well attach that to somebody, usually a guardian of some sort or a coach or whatever. It may be different for you. But that's where that inner voice comes from. And if it's negative, well, it was first conscious before it became subconscious. In other words, you heard those words, you heard that voice over and over again consciously, and it worked its way into your subconscious. How do you change it? Same way. You find out what those subconscious statements are, and you practice the exact opposite. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to win this race. I'm going to make that lift. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to make that sale, whatever it is. And the way you change that consciously so that it seeps into your subconscious is you actually stand in front of a mirror and repeat these phrases as if you're talking to yourself as your own child. Use your name. Your name's going to sound different. It sounds different to you than any other word in the world that's proven. It's talked about in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The greatest sounding word to anybody, greatest pleasing sound to anybody is our own name. And trust me on this. You stand in front of a mirror and you talk to yourself and you say, Garrett, you're going to be successful with this podcast. And you repeat that over and over. You say your name. It'll strike you. It'll sound very, very different to you. And if you keep practicing that every single day, 3 times a day, eventually it'll work itself into your subconscious. And that'll help you overcome these excuses and help you make yourself successful. Bottom line on this, you want to own this. You want to own your you want to own your accountability. You want to own your own success. You want to own your challenge, your task, and not try to pass it off by delegating your accountability, which is making excuses. Like I said earlier, I think you put it in a very good way, and that is that excuses sound good, but they don't do good. So make sure that you respond to every task with yes, no, and I messed up. Write down those different excuses that you use on a regular basis so they can become triggers, and you know how to correct them. You know how not to use them. You know at that point in time when you're using those triggers, those simple excuses, you're yet again choosing not to succeed. And change that inner voice. Change that inner voice by using conscious statements that you're repeating to yourself on a regular basis. And you will change that inner voice, and it will increase your level of success. Don't forget, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about that show with Joshua Gooch. On that show, we're going to be talking about that new program, Catalyst for Teens, building optimism, belaying fears, and instilling overall confidence in your teenager. And join us next week. My guest will be Dr. Jonathan Holmes, pediatrician with the Children's Medical Group. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope This will make a difference in your success. If you need help with that, if you need help in your success in health, fitness, and wellness, or you have any questions concerning this particular topic, please call me at 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach me at Garrett, Garrett, at personaledgefitness.com, which is our website and, of course, our Facebook page. Making you accountable to your success through extreme ownership. Just one more way we help you live your level of wellness.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.